I saw a video recently by Hank Green where he was talking. Well, he was responding to his brother John. So this was the Vlogbrothers channel. They go back and the brothers go back and forth on the same channel, responding to each other. John had a video called "Am I Cigarettes?" where he talked about his own struggle with addiction to cigarettes and then social media, and that is a continued addiction to that, and what he's doing to overcome it as he can. So he kind of talked about how really this content that we're watching here, the social media, YouTube, and many other platforms like it, Instagram, X, and so on, are very addictive. And so that's, and that he's himself producing videos on these platforms. So is he part of that addiction? So that's the video John made, and then Hank responded to that with his own version of that take, where he really compared that what social media tries to do is to give us basically information, and a lot of that information is designed to kind of hook us and really not give us a lot of value. But what we're really craving is information. So Hank made the argument that what people are thirsty for is information. And yes, in the process of gaining that information, they get lured into addiction, and then they get addicted to basically videos or Instagram or whatever you want to call it, content, I guess. I don't really like using that word. But people get addicted to that, and that what is really happening is they have a thirst for information. And he used the metaphor of food, right? That there is the nutritious food to be had. There used to be a lot of food shortage, which made us say, hey, we should never have food shortage anymore. So we use science, and now we have a whole grocery stores full of really addictive foods that are high in salt, fat, sugar, that keep us wanting to come back for more and more and more without really having a lot of nutrition to it. So that's what Hank went after, and in some way I think they were trying to, maybe they said it, maybe they didn't, but I kind of read between the lines that somewhere they may feel they're contributing to this addiction because they are producing some of these foods or the content or the videos that we're watching in large numbers, as they have a large following. And maybe there was a bit of justification that, hey, what we're doing, we're trying to give you information, so that's the equivalent of nutritious food. But yes, this platform where we're serving that, like a grocery store serves food, also serves all these calorie-dense foods that are not good for you and don't provide you much nutrition. So I think that's the justification they were doing, but I think the piece that maybe they missed, and look, they're brilliant people. I really love watching their videos. So I'm not trying to dig, Hank and John, if you're watching this, I'm not trying to dig at you. But what I'm saying is that's if people don't just go to YouTube for information or all these social media for information. They're not just thirsty for information, that they're also thirsty for some other things like connection, like mentorship. And sometimes these channels are so easy to get to as well. So connection, mentorship, and ease are what I think people are after. And in addition to information. And I think that is where social media, does a fantastic job at making, well, I think it's pseudo connection, right? Like people watching our videos, your videos, my videos, people watching the videos are not really connected to us, but they feel connected because they're watching somebody talk sort of openly to camera, especially about a topic that they're interested in. So that feels connection. It fills the need for connection, I think, that It's not real connection, but it does the job somewhat. And it's so easy to get that connection because it's right in your phone. Anywhere you go with 5G and all that, you could just have Wi-Fi everywhere. You can get that connection anywhere you are. So that's connection. Sometimes people really have a need for mentorship. So I know that I learned a lot from Hank's video about EV charging and sort of the myths behind EV charging. We actually ended up buying an EV in the last couple of weeks because of that video. So not just because of the video we were in the market, but also like that video really helped solidify the doubts we were having about all the myths behind EV. So there is some mentorship there as well that I think people crave that, again, I think has been diminishing. I felt that in my own life. Where I've been seeking mentors and I just really couldn't find them, to the point where I had to pay for mentors, coaches, trainers, executive coaches, teachers, and I found excellent support through that network. But really finding that, the talented uncle or the talented neighbor, that age is somehow gone. We've kind of lost that. At least I've lost that in where I live. Maybe most of you still have that there. Just let me know if that's the case. But it's hard to find those kind of people around you, so you have to go and seek them out. And again, unless you pay for a class with a nice, good teacher, very talented teacher, or you pay an executive coach to help you with your career, or you pay a physical trainer to help you with your workouts, you really can't access that information unless you just jump on YouTube, and then there's a lot of people giving you that advice. So that's another thirst for mentorship that I think people have, that is that YouTube and social media tries to fill, doesn't always fill. I've learned a lot of things on YouTube, but they've never come close. I wouldn't say they've even come like 10% close to finding the kind of support a real live person gives you, especially when they're trained and they have that experience and so on. So that, and plus the ease, is so easy to do this here. If I'm going to search for a mentor, if I'm going to search for somebody to have a one-on-one connection with, like if you're watching me sit across a desk here talking to you, you know how hard this is to do in real life. Like I've been to coffee shops, nobody talks to each other, and I hear that from other people also. I'm not saying that's the case. I definitely try to go out of my way to talk to people at a coffee shop, but also that's not the norm, as I can kind of tell, and I've been to a variety in my town. So connection is very hard to get in real life, so easy to get here, and people are thirsty for it, and that's why they're here. That's why they have gone towards social media and are now addicted to it because of all the other forces behind the scenes that keep you hooked to this platform, or all these platforms. Mentorship is another one. I think people get a lot of value from listening to people who are more talented and so on. I mean, maybe some of that is what I'm trying to do here, is I'm trying to say, hey, I've got a lot of experience doing journaling. I can help you be your sort of mentor in this process. So I'm trying to do that here. So I feel like I'm complicit in one of the reasons why people are coming to social media but it's kind of part of I guess I've accepted that this is kind of part of what the media landscape is, that if I want to help people, I'm going to have to accept that they might seek my video and then find something else that keeps them hooked onto the platform. That is unfortunately the reality. And ease, so ease is a tough one, because it's really hard to go, find that ease anywhere. But one of the things that I've done is, when I went through, and August was a time when I went through a period when I was really seeking out YouTube videos, because it was easy to just feel disconnected, and it was something easy for my brain to do. And it took me some journaling to find out that what was actually happening, that I was actually looking for an easy way, because there's been a lot of issues happening in my, the problems that I've been trying to solve, and, back in June, July, August. They've been very tough months for us. So we're beyond it now for the most part. but my brain was really just tired of having to deal with problems, and I was just looking for something easy. So what I ended up doing is I ended up buying some fiction books that I've read in the past that I really enjoyed. There's one by Sean Russell. It's a duology called The Initiate Brother and the Gatherer of Clouds. I had read it several times before, but I'd never had the book. I had the audiobook, which is fantastic, by the way. And I ended up buying a copy of that book on eBay. It's out of print. And I kept it in places where I would normally just sit and watch YouTube on my phone. So when I went there and I would relax and I would reach for my phone, I'd also see the book and say, oh, that book is excellent. I'm going to read that book. And that helped me do something just as easy as binging a few YouTube videos, but fight that addiction a little bit. Again, it's an ongoing battle. Again, YouTube still is kind of very easy. There are chapters on the book that sometimes I'm like, I don't want to read about that character right now, so I'll turn to something else, and so on. So that's maybe a way to fight the ease, is to have something that you love to do with an easy access of yourself. But frankly, I don't know where people are going to find connection and mentorship this day and age unless we change something significantly big, socially, culturally. And unfortunately, if anything, I'm seeing we're trending more towards isolation, the polarization, the political polarization, and so on that is happening. I think it's just adding on to people being more and more isolated, which has been going on for a long time. So that's, I guess, my take on Hank and John Green's video about MI cigarettes and people's thirst for information, is that people are also thirsty for connection and for mentorship, and this is very easy. So those are, maybe I'm adding a little more color to, hopefully, which could be an ongoing discussion. That's all I got this one for. This is a channel where we try to find your focus, your center, and learning what drives you, what motivates you, but also what distracts you, and the root causes behind it is a big part of finding your center, because you have all these hurdles in front of you, and unless you can name them, you are forever going to be fighting the invisible. So it's good to name them, and that's what I'm trying to do today, is naming the lack of connection, or a thirst for connection, the thirst for mentorship, and how easy it is to get here. That those are the demons we're trying to fight. That's it.